think that the superpower is finding your own unique voice, your own unique style. The first time women were earning more money than men, and I was like, this is it. I've sacrificed in order to have this career. Beauty is the superpower.
Let's talk about smart longevity strategies. As a Gen X mum, founder and podcaster, my days can be long and demanding. That's why I love learning about longevity and cellular wellness breakthroughs that work hard and smart. Time Capsule by Melrose Future Lab is the first TGA-listed all-in-one longevity supplement. It combines 12 clinically backed ingredients in one daily formula to support energy, metabolism, cognition, cardiovascular health, bone strength, and antioxidant protection. Powered by Lipisperse and Verisperse for enhanced absorption, it includes niacinamide riboside for cellular energy, resveratrol antioxidant defense, and berberine to support glucose metabolism. Plus, essentials like activated B vitamins, magnesium, vitamin D3 with K2. Because real longevity is not just about one thing. It's sleep, nutrition, mindset, and yes, supplements. It's about everything working together. Time Capsule makes it simple. Erika Heynatz is a model, actor, singer, and creative powerhouse whose career has evolved across 2 decades of television, theatre, fashion, and now cabaret. Known as the original host of Australia's Next Top Model, she has performed leading roles in Legally Blonde, Rocky Horror, and Singing in the Rain, and appeared in Menopause the musical. But behind the glamour is a storyteller who has redefined what it means to be seen at midlife. Now, as a wife, mother, and multi-talented slashie, Erika has channeled her creative energy into Stupor Model, a cutting-edge one-woman cabaret that dismantles the beauty myth from the inside out. Blending powerhouse vocals, raw storytelling, and fearless honesty, Erika explores desirability, rejection, self-worth, and the absurdity of chasing perfection in an industry and world built on illusion. In this conversation, we explore aging in the spotlight, creative reinvention, menopause, and the liberation of stepping into one's full womanhood with wit, intelligence, and a little rebellion. Well, it is very exciting to have my friend Erika Heynatz on the show. I came to see your one-man supernova performance, Stupor Model, and I have been dying to have you on the podcast since. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, it's a treat to be here. Thank you. And thanks for coming to see the show. I'm curious to hear what you thought.
And still think about the show, and I have an emotional reaction immediately. And I want to say that everyone in that theatre had such a visceral response, not just to your obvious omni-talents of singing, dancing, directing, producing,
crafting, sticking glue on things.
Like, oh my God. That's one conversation. But the honesty, the ride, the emotional ride, and also just the absolutely honest storytelling was really, really evocative. And wow, it was. So this to set it up, I would love for you to tell us the story of Stupor Model, because I'm going to have this conversation in acts.
Okay. Sounds good.
So tell us about Stupor Model.
The idea for the show came probably about 10 or 15 years ago. I was working on a musical, and it was Legally Blonde, the musical, and it's very much about a story about a girl who's, because of the way she looks, she's not taken seriously. And I thought, oh, there's something about
the
that.
Elwood phenomenon.
Yeah. And I think having had a career as a model, that really resonated with me. And then I started kind of work on the ideas, but it took me a long time for that to take shape. And interestingly, it's only been now at the age of 50 that I've had the confidence to do it. And it's taken a lot, but I also think that because the story is semi-autobiographical, that it's given me, I've needed all of those years to be able to create that real arc, that real life arc of really working in an industry that values youth and beauty above everything else and feeling
and
like that.
fetishizes it.
Yes,
And then throws you away.
100%.
Yeah.
And now at 50, I'm kind of entering the age which is essentially on the crispy crust of becoming invisible, that great disappearing act that is so common to women. And this is the time where I feel like my voice is ready to be heard. I feel like I do have something to say. I feel like I do want to talk about my personal journey of discovering my own worth. So the show pretty much starts right in the thick of the prime of my career. I'm backstage at a catwalk show in Europe and it's all going on. And look, I wanted to kind of capture all of the fun and the craziness and the beauty and the glamour, which is absolutely what I loved about my job, but also to really explore then the experiences that I had as a woman within that industry and kind of look at how, what my levels of desirability were at particular parts of it, my different vocations that I explored, because obviously I did modeling, then I got into television, then I got into acting, then I got into theatre, then I got into film. So I've kind of gone through all of it and how all of those industries still perpetuate that beauty myth that your worthiness is intrinsically tied to your prettiness.
I remember when I was watching the show, the thing that struck me in those opening scenes is like your bubbly naivety, the
blind optimism.
Exactly. The blind optimism of being like, everyone here is good. They care about me.
Yeah.
They value me. They see me. And through the arc, as you call it, which is perfect, how the reality of life, the reality of the industry, of those experiences that you had, once you start seeing it, first you have cognitive dissonance where you go, this can't be true. No. These people are good. They care about me. The industry is good. And then once the disillusionment comes in, once you realize you are on your own, kid, and you have got to have a game plan for your own survival, for your own thriving, for your own success. And to me, it felt like such an incredible parable for real life for women. Whereas, they may not have been as beautiful as you and they may not have been considered the sexy baby, but it is still, whether you're a very beautiful woman or a okay looking girl or whatever, there is, exactly as you said, this validation that only comes to you from your youth and beauty. And so that's on a sliding scale, of course, with time and with age. So it's up to us then to reclaim our own space and our own worth. So when we have peak beauty, it's a terrible inverse. Like when we have peak beauty, we're naive. We're not kind of cordoning off with boundaries. And then later we come crashing down. But then we have our confidence and power. So I would love to start with, if I can.
Sure.
When do you think in the arc the disillusionment started to come in?
Ooh, gosh. I think there were many moments, but I think something happened to me when I suddenly became responsible for how other women experience their beauty. And that was probably when I was doing Australia's Next Top Model and I was the mentor. And part of what I explore in my show is the very real fingerprint that we put on one another. And it tends to be from mother to daughter.
Yes.
But it's also, other people doing it. And I thought to myself, here I am kind of supposedly preparing these young women for the world, but I was giving them instructions, and it would be
for a job.
And obviously it's a reality show and it's not real life and it's done for entertainment. But also there was a real sense of dis-ease for me where I thought I have to be really careful here about what my legacy is. And that's, I'm not saying legacy like a Michael Jordan, but it is something about what's your impact on other people and how do I give these women, these young, impressionable women, the resilience that they need to get through what's going to, and it's just not in the beauty industry. And I guess part of the show is that these things are not these themes are not unique to just pretty girls. And that's what I wanted to look at, is that all of these themes are universal to women. The fact that we, as time goes on, we lose our sense of desirability and visibility. So I think that was...
And I give a fuckability.
Yeah, and I give a fuckability. So I think that was a real moment for me. And when I decided to step away from that was met with real shock and horror. But I think it was really important for me to want to to make an impact. And if I wasn't able to do that, if I wasn't able to thread some more of myself and my own beliefs into it, that was dangerous territory for me. Like, what's the fingerprint I'm leaving behind? So that's an interesting thing that happened to me during the creation of this show, was that I found this poem called Pretty, and it was written, and more to the case that it is a universal thing, and it's written by a woman who's on the other side of the world. And I read this poem and it blew my mind. And it was about this young girl who goes up and she says to her mum, when I grow up, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be pretty? Will I be wanted, worthy, pretty? And the mother is absolutely concerned about nothing other than her child having a marketable facade, because beauty equates to success and power, and that's all they want for their little girls. And what that does to her, how that destroys her. But when we spoke, when I connected with her and I said, this is such a powerful piece of writing. She said, well, I want to know why it's powerful. And we swapped stories, and she said, I can't believe. She's like, you and I, we're the same. We've gone through the same crippling insecurities, the same crippling things that have absolutely like kneecapped us as young women, but then have also fortified us as older women.
You spoke about the imprint that a mother can put on a child, and I can hard relate to that. I'm raising a 15-year-old. There are so many themes that are live in our lives. You know, I went through menopause and she was going through puberty.
Oh, what a cocktail.
What a time to be alive. And, you know, she's watching me in this industry that's very physically obsessed, and, you know, a lot of my friends are doctors and aesthetic experts.
Yeah.
My show is about beauty. I've always been in and around beautiful things, people, industries. And I am aware that this is leaving a fingerprint that is at possible an opposite or a contradiction to what I'm trying to teach. And so I have to be careful not to sound hypocritical when I'm having those conversations with Lily. And I also have to remember my own experience of growing up. I have a very beautiful mother. She was always like all eyes went to my mum. So it was quite an experience to grow up with that woman as your mother.
Yeah.
And understanding innately that beauty is power. Like beauty is power. Her beauty is her superpower. She happens to be very intelligent, educated, successful, but her underlying superpower has always been her beauty. And I didn't have that natural beauty, so I had to develop all these other superpowers. And then I found myself beautiful enough as I got older because I had lots of other things to pull in.
Yeah.
So, but I'm still poisoned by the promise that beauty is power.
Well, based on what you do exactly and what I explore in the show is about the commodification of women's self-esteem, the fact that it is ultimately a capitalist system.
Oh, we're a billboard too for projection, for selling.
Yeah. So, and that's why for me there was such a conflict, because I'm like, here I am talking about the really shit side of the business, but I'm completely complicit in my own oppression. I have thrived, survived, monetized this industry. I have made the pretty pictures that have made other people feel really crap about themselves. But I too I'm in the same, I still suffer from the same things. I go through magazines and feel really crap about myself. I buy all the same snake oil and shit as you do. all of that stuff.
About it.
Yeah, like it's impossible to escape. So it is that thing of like being really aware of how those images that I have been a part of, I have projected onto other people and the feeling that creates. But it's just really about awareness of you go, oh my God, like I'm just being sucked into buying another face cream. Like I might use swiping on Instagram late at night, purchase, click, straight to cart. And then I'm like, I know that these products are lies, being sold lies.
It's hope in a jar.
But I just hope in a jar, but I can't escape it. Like it's impossible. We're all like we just get on that wheel and it's so hard to get off because without it, like who are we? If we're young and beautiful, then we're successful and we can keep it. And it's a part of our professionalism and the facade that we maintain. How do you get off? It's impossible.
One of the most evocative aspects of your show was your choice of songs and then singing them at a different tempo and at a different style. Tell me about a couple of the songs that you chose that for you really move you to tears or move your emotion in such a powerful, palpable way that you know that song is a mantra for.
All right. So there's a couple for me a couple of songs, like I did a bit of a splice and dice of a couple of kind of 80s classics, which really looked at the male gaze. And for me, that was really important because I think there's been periods where I've really thrived and it's been super essential for me to be seen as beautiful and for the male gaze to be, the male gaze was of the essence. But then how quickly that could turn into obsession, how quickly that could turn into criticism and
self-hatred.
And then,
criticism from them, obsession from them. It could become dangerous.
Yeah, and then consent and then shame because there's all of those things, because when you are sexualized from a young age, also that, and when we're told that that feminine projection of power, when you start doing that at a young age, you attract attention, absolutely. But is it the right kind of attention?
Yeah, for sure.
So there was that medley, but I think probably one of the other songs, Will You Still Love Me When I'm Still Young, and the Lana Del Rey song Young and Beautiful, which is at the end of the show, which after I go through all of it, is really about because obviously we pull ourselves apart, a little bit like that Demi Moore film that she just did, the Substance, how we dissect and destroy and pull ourselves apart, how we're the worst judges of ourselves and our opinion, our appearance. And at the end of it, I kind of completely distort myself physically and pull myself apart. And it's ugly. It was important that in this show I showed the real ugliness of that and how we can just completely dissolve it underneath somebody else's gaze. And will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful? And the thing is, that's the one thing that you pin all of your hopes and if everything is pinned to your aesthetics, you're screwed. You're screwed. You really are. And there's a desperation to that I think all of us have felt at one stage or another when the Thanksgiving turkey neck starts to flap around. You're like, oh my God, what's happening? And especially for men, like menopause, like my shit fell apart and I didn't really like how I looked. But then at the same time, there was that incremental buildup of all of the things that gave me real confidence and real security in a belief in my own voice and my own opinions and ideas. So it's,
I have a special ageless listener offer. Ready to simplify your longevity stack? Our Season 11 sponsor, Melrose Future Lab, is offering ageless listeners 40% off your first time capsule order. Just use the code AGELESS at checkout. T's and C's apply. Offered valid on one-time purchases of time capsule. Only available now at melrosefuturelab.com.au. Your son and your husband were in the audience when I was there because I came to opening night, and I took some really nice photos of like just them rushing to you after the show. But everyone was looking at them to see their reactions to some of the hard bits of the show. And it was so interesting to me because I thought, oh my God, it would take a lot of courage to show your son this secret aspect of your life. And I'm sure you've discussed it with your husband before, but I thought,
not really.
No.
Not really. And I didn't tell them anything about the show. Like I'd disappear and go and kind of write and do my thing, but I wanted them to see it with fresh eyes. So there was, I think, a bit of shock for them and there were lots of questions.
And I always find that when you have these conversations of what it's really like to be a woman with men who love you, it is always that shock. And they don't know quite what to say. And then they want to rush in to protect you and to hold you. And I saw it in real time with your husband and your son. I could see that they just wanted to claim you and somehow retrospectively make it all okay for you. But I asked this question because I wonder if you have any advice or if you've given any thought as to how to tell the men in our lives who we are, who we've been, what we've internalized about our value and where we're at now. Do you think there's a framework for having those conversations with the men who love us so that this conversation around a male gaze like starts at home?
It absolutely does. And my
Darling, this is, yeah. Yes, please. While the sirens are going.
while the fire engine's going, I couldn't.
Thank you.
Oh, good. What a beautiful conversation so far.
Aw,
This is one I'll send my little sister. They need to hear this early on. So
Yeah.
well done.
The show was wild. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable. Like, I've nearly cried 3 times.
How amazing that you didn't tell your husband about it. That's
No. Well, it's a really important that you bring that up because there's still stuff that
He's processing.
Yeah, and I'm processing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm going to pick it up from my question where I say, you know, is there a framework where these conversations could be had with the men in our lives?
I'm a big believer. I've got my little boy is 9 years of age, and I don't know, some people might criticize me for doing it too young, but I'm really explicitly honest with him about any themes, and he asks really, really good questions, which is super helpful. And following the show, there's drug use in it. There's a lot of talk about lots of visual imageries. There's one part where I have sex with a hamburger. It's hard to explain, but essentially it's about desire and deprivation, which is a big part of women's lives, like the dieting cycle and what you're allowed to have and what you allow yourself to have if you're a good girl.
And the Gen X woman is riddled with this agony. There's a lot that we've internalized.
And he was like, what is that all about? And so one of the songs, it's an original song, but it was written after a quote that was taken by Kate Moss, which is "Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels." And back then, because she was one of the supermodels, that became a mantra for so many women of my age. Like, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Doesn't matter how bad it feels when you are literally starving to death. If you look good, then you're living. And I talked to him about the things that I've sacrificed in order to have this career. Like, it comes at a great cost sometimes. And I was lucky. I was brought up in a family that had a really healthy attitude towards food and those sorts of things. But for a lot of people, that wasn't the case. But I believe that these conversations 100% begin at home. And I know that the conversations that I've had with my husband since the show, particularly around, there's another song that talks about, which is called "Older Than I Am." And just that feeling of how I have had to behave in a way that is beyond my years, and the cost of that, like that loss of innocence, I think, when I should have just been a beautiful young girl having a great time, enjoying all of these other things. I was so completely consumed by being beautiful and desirable, and, as I say, catering to the male gaze. That came at a big cost to me. There's a real loss of innocence. And I think talking to my husband about that, I think he felt sad for me.
I definitely felt that. Like, what I thought I saw was him rushing to like throw his arms around you and say, okay, I wasn't there when this happened, but I'm here now and it's my job. I'm going to make all of this go away. And I could feel that sadness. It was very palpable.
I mean, he has been a huge support to me. I've experienced sexual assault and sexual harassment, as I think a lot of women have in the workplace, and had to go through the court system for that. And that was really difficult for me, but also, again, about that fingerprint you leave behind. If I don't speak up, what happens? And he was very much a champion of that. He was like, you know what? You got to say the thing. There's all of these young women coming up behind you in the industry. And if you don't say something, then it will become that they will inherit that experience.
Yes.
So it's, all of those conversations, hard ones, but they start at home. And I hope that my son absorbs them. I hope he becomes intimately aware with the female experience so that he can be a better man,
You know, something you just said made me think about this social media ban that's happening in December. And we're talking about the male gaze, performative beauty, the value of a woman and a girl being around how she looks. When we were growing up, it was really limited to models and actors and performers. So it was a very small subset of the population, the community, that were deemed beautiful enough, special enough to become the icons that the rest of us would follow. And, you know, it's always wild to me that Ali Dado is a friend of mine now because she was pinned up
Oh
on
my God, I used to have
she
so
was-
many tear sheets of her. She was my
Exactly.
ultimate dolly pin-up girl.
Exactly. And like I was an Australian immigrant. I was an
Mm.
immigrant to Australia. She was blonde haired, blue eyes. She was everything.
The ultimate Aussie.
Yeah, she was the ultimate Aussie beautiful girl. So I always think that's wild. But it was always limited to a handful of people. But now, because of social media, everyone is broadcasting. Everyone is a model. Everyone knows their angles. Everyone knows their poses. And I
still got to work on a couple of mine. I'm getting some bad chins going.
I can 100% see the upside of not exposing young people to that before they're ready, because it is wild. To me, it's wild that the average person is judging themselves by such crazy standards.
It's
Now,
such a narrow
Yes.
version of a beauty ideal, and exactly that. The fact that my son's probably gonna, when he
wants to
finally
look
gets
smacked. Let me tell you, he is probably look smaxing when you're not looking. That's what the boys are on it.
He's like having a quiet swipe. He's got access to YouTube, but so far he's just looking at Minecraft. Praise be. Well, so I think.
So I think that conversation around male gaze, around your worth from being beautiful, desirable, getting those likes, that instant validation.
Yeah.
It's so much worse now because even the average girl is struggling. And me as a 51-year-old woman, I still get lit up. I still get the dopamine hit.
Absolutely.
Fire emojis. Good day.
Give me one or two love heart emojis.
Come on.
I'm sorted for the afternoon.
For the whole day.
Yeah.
So I get it. And it's really an interesting time to kind of navigate this conversation. Yes, we're calling it out, but
how do you steer through it?
Oof.
And as you were saying too, like once he does actually get on social media, what he gets exposed to is a version of beauty. So again, it's all of these things that have been modified, altered. It's not real. Like it's back 25, 30 years when I was modelling, at least it was real skin, real flesh, real thighs, all of those things.
Too. You see
now everything's got a filter.
Everything's got a filter. Everyone's had their teeth done.
Yeah.
Everyone does Pilates, so they have these tight little bodies. Everyone is perfect. We're manicured and pedicured like a puffball. But if you look at movies from, even 20 years ago, the actors, the actresses, the models, they weren't perfect.
They weren't perfect.
They were extraordinary, obviously way better than the average population. But because of the digital age and because of this constant self-publishing, the shift has gone to perfection.
What do you think then? Because I've got a number of mentors or people that I look up to in the industry who are my age and older now.
Yes.
And I think there's been a couple of times where I've caught myself, and I think it might have been Nicole Kidman's hand in Baby, which was obviously about a woman, like I love, because it was about embracing a woman's sexuality and celebrating all that stuff. And I was like, oh my God, her hand looks like my hand. My hands are like gnarled little man hands, wrinkles and that, but often
they're not, by the way.
No, you know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, that looks like my skin. That looks like my skin. Or like there are other actors like Naomi Watts, who's getting a lot of airtime on television at the moment. Like her face looks like how my face is moving and changing, and how great that is to see. And like, it's so nice to see finally we are having this movement where there are women who are finally gaining visibility on the big screen.
Pinterest called it a phenomenon. So they have, Pinterest trends.
Yeah.
And they've called it goddess core.
Ooh.
And it's a trend that's come through because of this high visibility of actresses and models over 50 that are getting work, that are visible, that are considered very beautiful. And so Pinterest has predicted this trend of goddess core. And that's
Isn't it probably like when I think about it, it's like a handful, like 5 or 10 that are doing it.
Kylie. She's doing her best ever global tour. Yeah. Close to 60.
Jolo just did the Super Bowl at 50. Pretty good.
Helen Mirren is pretty. Kate Blanchett is kicking goals. Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore, I love her.
There's plenty
Robin
of
Wright Penn.
Absolutely.
You know who I love
What
at the moment? I loved when Chelsea Handler turned 50. She God, she was topless skiing down a mountain
I know.
with a hot one in her hand and a margarita. I was just like, that is beauty.
I did ayahuasca for my 50th.
Yeah, I did a bit of plant medicine myself. That was all part of it. Why the hell not? I've done it all. Like I thought I was going to have the big glamorous party. I did none of that. I went surfing in Sri Lanka. I did yoga. I did plant medicine. I wrote a musical.
Yeah, you did.
I did a film at the start of the year. And again, the women that I worked with on this film, they're amazing, collaborative, but also like really, I just think amazing for their age and funny and smart. These clever minds, so many clever minds. And I was like, what a sexy cast.
I'm going to ask you about two things.
Yeah.
One thing I'm going to ask you about is when I first saw you, when you came into my consciousness for the first time, was on that singing show, It Takes Two. And I didn't know who you were, but I wanted to know who you were. I fell in love with you so hard through that process, and I could not believe how good your voice is. Now, I've been at parties where you've sung, I've been at weddings where you've sung, I've been like in the back of an Uber with you when you've sung.
Sounds like I'm tooting my horn more than I need to.
But I remember that first time, and I just remember thinking, this cannot be real. Like, your evolution, you learned how to sing on the show. Am I right?
Yeah, so I'd always wanted to sing, and I had like a side
How long
hobby.
ago was it, first of all? 20 years?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's got to be 20 years.
And it was a show where you got teamed with a mentor, and I was teamed with an opera singer.
Yes.
So I was like, what a disaster. This couldn't be worse. Everyone got these cool pop stars, and I got an opera singer. I was like, how's this going to work out? And it was amazing because
it was amazing.
I'd always wanted to explore my voice. It was always a part of me that it had been left kind of untouched. And it required me to be vulnerable in a way that I'd never been before.
That's what I was going to say.
Terrifying.
That was the first time I had ever seen a famous, beautiful woman put herself in the position of vulnerability. And I couldn't believe it. And I didn't know you. I just thought, what is happening? She's scared.
People were like holding their face like a Van Gogh painting going, what is she doing?
Yes,
but
you were scared.
my God, so scared.
You were operating in a field that you weren't an expert at.
Yeah.
It was kind of before Dancing with the Stars, but it was before
that.
any of that. And I remember thinking, oh my God, the price of being able to do what you did at the end of that show was the vulnerability of admitting that you're scared, that admitting you don't know how to do this, and trusting that someone else will catch you if you fall.
Yeah.
And it was such a massive life lesson to me. I've never told you this, but that really changed my paradigm about trust falling.
Yes. And it's definitely my reality now in terms of what I just did with the one woman show. And and what I learned from that is that those experiences when you are literally pushed to the brink, you feel like you're on the cliff edge of making the worst mistake ever, really exposing, is when you have that absolute, there's no other word for it, epiphany of sorts, where you just go, the thing that people love, and I love personally as a consumer of theatre, music, like anything, is seeing somebody give of themselves completely, their full heart, their full vulnerability. That's what resonates. When I go and sit in a theatre, it's a piece of live art. You get to watch somebody breathe, make mistakes. You see them feel the things. You see the goosebumps, and you also get the experience of other people in the audience being actively transformed in that moment.
How do we get this show like on a global stage? I mean, that's what everyone was saying. Okay, if there's a benefactor who's listening to this, like we've got the video. We can send you a video. It was really amazing. I just think, so off the back of your own show, Stupor Model, you just did Menopause, the musical.
Yeah.
And how was that for you? Was that a easy role to accept? Was that one that you wanted to be the poster girl for menopause?
Well, it's funny because, I mean, it's obviously a subject that's shrouded in taboo and shame, and it's not seen as being... Not so much now, but generally speaking, people like, they don't want to be saying, oh, you're a menopausal woman. It's still not that sexy to say.
No, it's not.
But for me, I love the opportunity to do it because I'm right in the thick of it, right in the thick of going through all of those symptoms. So it was amazing, but also like hilariously bad because the brain fog. I mean, I hadn't done a musical for 9 years. The brain fog, the insomnia, the body aches, like doing it was like 25 dance numbers, all of those things. So it was funny, but also the experience of singing the truth about all of those symptoms and all of those experiences, which are universal,
Yes,
unavoidable. You will have this stuff horrific
Ah.
in lots of ways, but also it's a show that really celebrates the fact that if you are capable of sharing your stories, if you are able to laugh about it, then it really brings women together. And it's almost like a coven moment. All of these women who've got all of this power and all of this awareness, they get together and they cackle about it. It's bloody brilliant. So I had a really, really good time doing it. It was it was a lot of fun. And as I say, I think it's a show that really celebrates a phase of life that deserves to be celebrated because you just hear all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
And there is something that you like. For me personally, what it's done is it's really vacuum packed my friends to me. I feel closer. I have much stronger, much more intimate relationships with my friends because of the absolute transparency we have with one another.
I feel the
about
conversations of women who are in perimenopause and menopause, particularly over the past 3 years. It really wasn't like that when I did. It wasn't. I had menopause without knowing I had it because no one talked about it.
Yeah, I reckon I discovered mine about 5, 7, 8 years too late.
So it was. But I feel like because it's a topic of conversation, and as you said, it's a universal experience, and it's one you can't avoid if you're alive as a woman. The conversations we're having with our friends, you're right. What a beautiful analogy. Vacuum packs us together.
Yeah, sucks them towards you. And it's just, the bonds are incredible.
And also it peels back the veneer of perfection and shininess that we have. Can I ask you, what do you think are the plus sides, apart from the vacuum pack close friendships? What are some of the
plus sides in terms of the change in visibility
that you're singing about, that you feel that we should celebrate and enjoy about menopause?
Sorry, ask that question for me again.
What you mentioned that there are so many things to celebrate as part of menopause, and there are things that we always talk about the bad side of it. What are some of the good things that you've noticed, maybe through the scripts that you've enacted, maybe through the conversations that you've had, your own experience? What are some of the pluses for you?
It was interesting. I when I turned 50, my manager said to me, she said, "Just you wait. It's all about to get so much better." And it completely took me unawares because I think all along I've been told that it was only like the expiry stamp was like a brand on my forehead that I was on my way. And she's absolutely not. This is where you have such an intimate understanding of what your needs are. You've got a voice that is so intrinsically unique to you, something that is going to, and it's infused with all of this experience. People are going to listen to that. They're going to believe that. Also, like your face tells a story. All of that experience reads in your face and reads in the work that you do, whether it's written, whether it's performed. All of that stuff is a real plus. You have something to give. You have something to share. It's not, you're not kind of, it's no longer performative as we've discussed. It is a real, I feel like I've got something really valuable to offer. I feel like I am worthy of having those roles. So I feel like the roles become more interesting. They're more multifaceted. They're more challenging. They're probably a little bit more difficult, which I'm also okay with.
Yeah. You know, and you just shot a film as well this year, right?
Yeah.
It's a small year for you.
Small year. Well, there were things that I wanted to do, and I was very careful what you wish for. It's been an absolute banger of a year so far.
Are there things that if you got offered now, you wouldn't do? Like, would you not take a beauty contract? Would you not do aesthetics? Are there like fashion or lifestyle content that you just go, no, I'm not going to be part of that?
Nothing really comes to mind, although I was asked by a journalist just recently whether or not I watched reality television, and I said, no, I don't. That's not, and a lot of that was offered to me. And I think having hosted reality television and having been a part of it, once you know the internal workings of it, it's a little bit like cutting open a sausage and discovering the mystery meat. There is no mystery. You know how it all works. So I don't think that that's something that appeals to me, although that's a very kind of general, like there's a lot of really interesting reality television that's being shot.
Too. Yeah.
And I don't watch a lot of it. So it's probably not something that appeals to me. Like I don't think I'd go on Survivor or like smash another housewife out or anything like that. But I mean, the only things that I've ever really said no to are
I thought
things.
we could do that one together.
Yeah, probably. I'd take you down a couple of martinis later. Things like I remember being over in Germany and shooting really highly paid magazine editorial. Did a bit of that. I'd say yes to booze, no problems. But it was fur. And I got there and I was like, you know what? I don't think I can do this anymore. And it was such a lucrative job for me. But of course, there's an issue there with me. I don't want to be
part of the problem.
I don't want to be part of the problem. There's so many other fabrics that we can be using. There's nothing really at the moment. I mean, obviously there's some. The same goes with the more that you understand what goes into products. There's certain brands and lots of. It's about, I think, ethical and aware, being an aware consumer. So there's certain things, if I know that it's absolutely toxic, if I know that it's absolutely high fashion, that's just contributing to landfill, make better choices. You don't want to be the face of, the earth coughing and spluttering. That's not ideal.
One of the things that I think of when I think of brand Erika is you are so active, but in a very natural way, and you're curious.
Oh, yeah.
Like you travel, you climb trees, you jump off cliffs, you swim in waters. Have you always been like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how do you keep that energy and that curiosity alive? Because it's so youthful. It is. Of all the ageless things that you can be, I think being curious and being active are the most ageless and the most beautiful you can be.
I think one of the things that ages us the quickest is when we stop taking risks. And by that I mean just if you're too scared to take a chance, if you're too scared to investigate something that may put you out of your comfort zone, that saps your youth pretty quickly. And I grew up, I did a lot of my schooling by correspondence. We'd travel to Australia by car, by boat. So it's meant that I've had to thrive and adapt. And I love that. Yeah, but just I want to try all of the things. And my mum is exactly the same. She just did the El Camino. She's 75, just hiked the El Camino. She sails, she does yoga, she's hiking, she's doing all of that stuff. So I've got a really amazing role model in that way.
Yes.
But I think it's when you stop doing that and you become couch-ridden and too scared, like that's going to put me out of my comfort zone, which I think a lot of people do when they sit back and go, that's not for me. Can't do that. My knees might not like it. Give it a shot. You know, like it's. I don't think you're too old to try anything. I mean, there's certain stuff that I wouldn't bungee jump again in a heart, like just for chiropractic reasons. But otherwise, I want to do it all. And I am super curious. I'm always looking at what I want to do next. I mean, we're just about to kind of look at doing Costa Rica and going hiking and probably
can do a bit of
medicine.
I was about to say.
Ayahuasca, baby.
I think you're going to the home of ayahuasca.
Why not? Why not?
To wrap it up, I would love to take you back with the wisdom of 50 and the experiences that you've had in this Jubilee year. And then I want to take you back to a time where you were probably on your knees and really not sure about what was going to happen next. And if you could give her some advice or some insight as to what's coming ahead.
Ooh. I think looking back at what you said, that idea that beauty is the superpower, I actually think that that's a bit of a lie. And I think that the superpower is finding your own unique voice, your own unique style, and being absolutely fearless in throwing yourself forwards without any regrets and without any consideration to what other people might think about you.
Oh.
I don't know.
It's like bungee jumping.
It's a little bit like that. I think about like casting my mind back to being really young and when in my infancy in modeling, and it's when supermodels were kind of the thing, and it was the first time women were earning more money than men, and I was like, this is it. Beauty is the superpower. This is it. But I think probably learning to like being beautiful is the superpower. Being a beautiful human, being a interested, curious, invested human is kind of the superpower.
Well, I'm hoping, I'm putting it out there that someone is watching this who wants to fund and develop your amazing one-woman show, Stupor Model. It deserves to be a book. It deserves to be seen on the global stage. It is quite extraordinary. And I want to wish you a very happy 50th year.
Thank you.
And to tell you, I'm so delighted to have had this conversation with you. It has made my year. Thank you.
I'm so honoured to have had the chance to talk to you about this. It means a lot to me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the channel, sign up for our free newsletter, and consider leaving a review and rating it. This really helps the channel grow and reach new audiences.